So another way to phrase with perfect semantic meaning is, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself know violence. May they be subjected to violence. She opens up the statement by saying, another 4 years of hatred. And then she closes it with, I wish violence on more than half of America. I wish violence on Trump. I wish violence on 1 in 5 black men. I wish violence on roughly half of Hispanics. I wish violence on 40% of women under 30. I wish violence on married women. I wish violence on most of America.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? We have Michael Knowles here, and he is going to do a little takedown of Rachel Zegler and her Instagram notice to all Trump voters. It was a doozy. I think that she has recently been made to apologize. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. But do me a favor, everybody. If you do like this and a lot of the other stuff that I do, please hit that subscribe button. It does help with the algorithm, and it does help me get the word out. So let's take a listen.
Have to get to, as the libs lose their minds over the Trump ascension and the beginning of his administration. Rachel Zegler, do you know her? Rachel Zegler she's the gal who was cast to play Snow White, and she irritated Disney fans because she apparently hates the story and hates love and princes and the relation between the sexes, and she tried to make Snow White really woke, and there was a huge backlash from that. Well, unsurprising, Rachel Zegler has responded to the Trump election by wishing violence on Trump supporters. Here's what she said. It was a post to Instagram. I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us toward a world I do not want to live in, leaning us toward a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in, leaning us toward a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Leaning us toward a world that won't let my daughter kill my grandchild, leaning us toward a world that is fearful. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I'm heartbroken for my friends who awoke with fear. Okay, yada, blah, 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 yeah. Then she goes on to the bottom. I echo Ethel Cain's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. What does it mean not to know peace? What is the opposite of peace? What is the absence of peace? It's violence. So another way to phrase with perfect semantic meaning is, may Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself know violence. May they be subjected to violence. She opens up the statement by saying, another 4 years of hatred. And then she closes it with, I wish violence on more than half of America. I wish violence on Trump. I wish violence on 1 in 5 black men. I wish violence on roughly half of Hispanics. I wish violence on 40% of women under 30. I wish violence on married women. I wish violence on most of America. Because they're so hateful. Okay, checks out. Thank goodness those people have been ousted from power. Here is a TikTok lib saying the quiet part out loud about the leftist opposition to deportation.
So your lawn maintenance is about to skyrocket because 90% of workers in the lawn maintenance industry, they come from Mexico. And whether they're here legally or not, Stephen Miller, who Trump's going to put in charge of his mass deportation project, is going to deport them. They're also going to deport people who are naturalized citizens. These are jobs that Americans will not do, okay? American families are not letting their young adults work in the lawn maintenance industry. These companies may be owned by Americans, but their employees are from Mexico.
Okay, put aside her second part there for a moment, that Americans don't want to work hard. She might not want to work hard. I know plenty of Americans who want to work hard. Just think about the first part. We had been told for years now that the Democrats supported open borders, supported mass migration, opposed the enforcement of our immigration law because we just have to care for the poor, oppressed dreamers who want a shot at the American dream. We have to give them every opportunity. And that is why it is so important that we trap them in indentured servitude and make them mow our lawns. for wages that are lower than any real American would ever accept. That is why, because we love them so much, we care so much about them, that we have to make them quasi-slaves and pay them off the books slave wages to mow our lawn and clean our homes. Because we liberal suburban women, we would never do any work around our house. Our suburban liberal husbands would never purchase a lawnmower. No. That's why we need to trap foreign peasants in cycles of indentured servitude for their own good, because of how much we care about them.
Why do you think that everything right now is in Spanish and in English? There's a reason for this. And believe me, they made sure that it was like contracts and things like that were in Spanish as well as English as well. It's insidious of what they're doing.
Yikes, lady. Whoa. I don't know. I think it's not that hard to mow a lawn. I'm not saying I like doing it. I don't really have much of a lawn, though, so I don't need to worry about it. But you, that's great. You've had a successful life. You got a big yard in your nice suburban enclave. Okay, well, tell your hubby he's going to have to mow the lawn. Or he's going to have to hire people who are here legally, and he's going to have to pay them fair wages. You know, I'm not being cute about this. One of the 4 sins that cries out to God, traditionally in Christianity, is oppression of the poor, denying the poor their wages. This lady's bragging about it. This lady's exalting denying the poor fair wages as if it were some kind of virtue. But we must be able to effectively steal the wages of foreign peasants. Good grief, lady. No wonder the Democrats are no longer considered the party of the poor, of the working class. You're actively campaigning on slightly reducing the lawn maintenance fees of wealthy people. I don't think so. I don't think that's a good argument. I think plenty of Americans would do that job, and maybe you have to pay them a fair wage, and sorry for you. I guess you're going to have to cut your vacation in.
What do you think about that, guys? That's a big argument for the left right now, is that Americans do not want to do these jobs. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Americans will do these jobs? I mean, my brother-in-law works in landscaping, so he does this. So I know that there are guys, or Americans out there who are going to do this. So, hey.
St. Martin, a little short this year. You're gonna have to go for 9 days instead of 11 days. Sorry. My heart breaks for you.
Well, there it is, everybody. That is Michael Knowles taking down Rachel Zegler and the left for basically their insanity after the election of Donald Trump. As far as this and the immigration is concerned, they are really virtue signaling about this a lot. And it is absolutely and utterly horrific that they do so, knowing very well that 1/3 of the children that have been brought across the border have simply disappeared. That is absolutely scary. And the fact that they want something like this to continue unfettered, and that is exactly what they want, is just sickening. And I had mentioned this beforehand about the Spanish, about contracts and everything being in Spanish and English. Look, English is how things are done in this country, okay? The English language is the language that is spoken by the people that run this country. By adopting Spanish into contracts and everything like that, what they have effectively done is they have brought in a servitor class. So these Hispanics that are brought in to be absolutely nothing but poor workers. Okay, what we would call the working poor. I mean, yeah, okay, at one point in time, getting bought by Mercedes, a contract by Mercedes to buy a Mercedes-Benz was something to talk about. You really had to have your nuts and bolts in a row to be able to do this. But anybody can get credit through Mercedes-Benz now. So it's terrible. It really is. So guys, thank you all very much for joining me today. Hit me up with those comments. Let me know if you think I'm off or you think I'm know what I'm talking about. That should be good. Anyway, so again, hit the like button and do please subscribe. So thank you all very much, folks. Later.